I just spent 7 days learning animation in Blender, and while I still have a lot to learn, I ended up making 6 major mistakes that taught me some really important lessons. In this video, I want to share those lessons with you because even if you're a 2D animator or use a completely different software, a lot of these mistakes still apply. Mistake number 1 was to not save and version my work properly. This is a simple one, but please take the time to do it. It will save you hours and a lot of frustration, I promise you. Because at some point, you will mess up beyond repairs, and your last save will either be too long ago, or worse, you saved on top of the problem you can't fix. So here's 2 tricks you can do to make sure that this never happens to you. First, when working, you should often save with Ctrl S. But you should also version your project by saving with Ctrl Shift S from time to time. This will create a completely new version of your project. That way, if you mess up beyond repair, you can just load back a previous version.
Nice.
Then, have you ever noticed that the number of undo in Blender is very limited by default? I can't remember the number of times I made a mistake and realized too late, so I couldn't return before I made it. To fix this, go to Preference, System, Undo Steps, and crank this bad boy up to the max. Heads up, this will take more RAM, so if you have issues, you can go a bit lower. Mistake number 2 was to try to copy my reference too much. References are great, but depending on what reference we're using, if it's real world, 2D, 3D animations, the FPS, the style, the model size, the results might not look as good in 3D. So it's important to understand your reference and adjust your animation in consequence. You might need to exaggerate some poses and adjust the timing to end up with a result that looks good in 3D. Mistake number 3 was to not set up my camera first. Here's the thing, you don't need your character to look good from every angle, just from the camera point of view. This means by setting up your camera first and then animating accordingly, you will save a lot of time and get way better result by focusing on only one angle at a time. Mistake number 4 was treating my animations like drawings. I spent way too long making sure that every frame were looking good on their own, but not only did that take me way longer to animate, I also got worse results because of it. In reality, deforming, squashing, and stretching your model is a very common and necessary technique to convey speed and impact. If you're animating at 24 FPS for example, that's way too fast for your brain to understand every single frame anyway. So don't be afraid to completely deform your model for a few frames if it helps with the final render. Mistake number 5 was not taking enough time to set my timing correctly. This is the one I still struggle a lot with, but realizing that some things will move at constant speed, some other things start slow and accelerate, or slow down on impact, will make all the difference in the final animation. For example, an impactful punch could start slow, accelerate, and then stop net on impact. Timing can make the difference between this kick and this kick. And mistake number 6 was to put too much emphasis on the character animation. And what I mean by that is that the camera movement, VFX, impact frame, and smear frames are as much part as the final animation as the character moving. In my first animation, I would get extremely frustrated that I was not getting the movement, impact, and flow I wanted, despite spending hours on animating my character. Of course, I still have a lot to improve on that side, but when I looked at crazy anime fights, I realized that the character animation wasn't that crazy or special most of the time. Smear frame, VFX, background, particles, camera movement, and about 100 other things that happen all at the same time on screen were all blended together to get this crazy result. I will continue to learn animation and start working on bigger projects, and I plan to share everything I learned with you. So if that sounds interesting, please leave a like and subscribe. See ya!